Okay, so hello everyone and welcome back to your own tutor YouTube channel. So today we are going to dive deeper into the IELTS listening section and without wasting any time, let's just get started with it because I will not be explaining to you the structure of this IELTS listening test, and we will not be doing a complete test together, but what we are going to do is that we're going to do a few questions each day just to give you guys an overview of what to expect in the test. So let's get started. And the channel that I would recommend for this is the IELTS listening test one. It has already got 1.16 million subscribers, so you can see that it's very popular already. And it actually, the best thing about this channel is that they update it on a daily basis almost. They have new listening practice tests. So for listening tests, I think this is the best resource that you can refer to. Cambridge IELTS listening tests are also good for you if you have those books available, but otherwise you just need a pen and a paper. Just write for answers till 40, 1 till 40, because there are 40 questions in total, and just play this recording. Use a headphone for best experience because that is what the official test is going to test you on as well, right? So we're going to just do the first few questions together, and in the process I will explain to you why this was the answer and why and what you should listen for and what are the things that you need to take care of when you're listening in the IELTS exam. So let's get started. First of all, my first advice, if you want to note it down, just note it, that you need to listen to the instructions, what they are saying, and also notice the instructions on the exam sheet, what they are actually asking you, what you need to write. Sometimes what happens is that you know the right answer, but because you did not follow these specific instructions, your answer gets marked as wrong or incorrect, and you lose marks on that. Okay, so let's get started.
The test is in four-part, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. Now look at Part 1.
Okay, so the test is in 4 parts. This is the part 1 of the test.
Part 1.
You will hear a telephone conversation between a language student and an advisor. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Okay, now this is really important. You have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. What you're going to do is that start from right here. What does Lisa is the lady who's going to speak, I think, about each object. So for example, complete the tables as follows. Write A if she says it is essential, B if she says it is recommended, C if she says it is not recommended. Now generally they start with easier ones, but I think this is a bit challenging. Usually it's not that hard in the actual exam, but I think you should better be prepared for it. What they're going to do is that they are going to confuse you between these two, essential and recommended. Essential means you must have it. Recommended means even if you don't have it, it's not gonna matter, but it is good for you. Not recommended means absolutely not, right? So let's start. So you need, now don't write essential, recommended, or not recommended. You just need to write A, B, or C. So do follow the instructions as they are. So now let's listen to the rest of the recording. I will pause a bit after each answer just to give you an idea, but in the future practice tests, I'm not going to pause. We're just going to listen together, and I'm going to note down the answer in front of you in a Word file so that we actually, it will feel like we are doing the test together. I'll pause there. I'll forward this because we already had enough time to look at the questions, I think.
Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Homestay Language Learning, Lisa McDowell here. How can I help you?
Hello, my name's Dan,
Hello, Dan.
and I'm going to be living with a family in Edinburgh for 3 months, so I'd like some advice on what to bring with me. I'm flying in via Singapore on the 15th.
Right. Well, perhaps most important of all are your documents. Vaccination certificate, sponsor's letter, and the certifying letter from us for immigration.
Yes, I've got all those in order, I think. What I'm really wondering about...
So still they haven't gotten to the point. They are just discussing additional details. This is just to make you comfortable with the recording. So initially they might give out some of the essential information so that you get comfortable with the recording. Now they're going to directly, I think we are going to start off with the questions.
money and clothes and things for my room. Personal effects, in other words.
Briefly.
Okay, let's start with cash. You'll already have money in your bank account here, of course, but make sure when you get here you have some cash on you. Pounds, that is, not euros or...
Make sure you have cash, so that is essential, right? So you will mark A for the first blank.
dollars.
How much do you suggest?
I'd say 50 as an absolute minimum.
Okay. Now, the next thing is which clothes to bring. What do you think?
Well, as I'm sure you know, it can get pretty cold here, so you will need some warm clothing. There are shops...
So you will need some warm clothing. It's not like I recommend or I would suggest some warm clothing. She said you will need. So it is going to be essential. A again. A for this one and A for this one.
It's near here that sell winter clothes quite cheaply, so you really don't need to bring much. Do make sure, though, that you have at least one thick sweater and a jacket with you when you arrive here. The temperature's likely to be a lot lower than in Singapore.
Just to confuse
Thanks for
you,
the
additional
warning.
details.
Now, something else I'm not sure about is whether to bring my computer. It's a laptop, so it won't take up much room.
Two problems. Firstly, it might not be compatible with the electricity supply in this country. And secondly, there's a risk of it getting broken in transit. Someone travelling here had hers smashed only last month.
But surely I can carry it as hand luggage.
Usually, yes, but because of all the tight security right now, you may have to check it in. So,
Okay, so you may have to check it in. So she is not recommending. Basically, she is insisting on not bringing a personal computer. I would have chosen C for this. A, and C for this.
so my advice is to leave yours at home.
Okay, I think I will. Is there anything else you'd advise against bringing?
Well, you won't need household or cooking things. They'll all be provided. And importing food, of course, isn't allowed by customs, though I imagine you already knew that.
Well, yes.
So they won't allow, right? Their accent is a bit jumbled up, right? So when you listen, you have to listen very carefully. So she says that it's available here. That means she's clearing up. If you didn't understand the word won't, so they are clearing it up by following it with it's available here. That means it's not recommended.
But there are one or two things I'd suggest you find room for in your suitcase.
Yes?
Perhaps a few of your favourite cassettes or compact discs.
Okay, so she says that you can bring in your favorite cassettes or compact discs. Now you would be wondering, where is this option here? Of course, it's talking about CDs. Compact discs are CDs. So IELTS is going to play around with words like this. Okay, so they would be using cassettes in front of tapes instead of tapes, right? So you would get confused that I didn't see cassettes here, and that's how the recording would move on, and you wouldn't find the specific keyword that you're looking for in the recording, and that's their way of confusing you. You need to be on your guard at all times when you're listening. If you miss a smallest of detail, you're going to miss the question.
Of course, you might
this
be able to
is,
find them in the shops
recommended.
here, but
That is
then
the-
again, you
it's
might
not
not.
essential. If it
That's a
doesn't
good
bring
idea.
CDs, it's
Anything
not going
else?
to matter.
Yes, some photographs of people and places that are special to you could be nice.
Photographs are also
It
recommended.
can really make
So,
your room feel like home.
let's see. For the first one, it was essential. Warm clothing was essential, so A. And personal computer and food from home, these were not recommended. And then favorite tapes and CDs and photos from home, these were recommended. B. So B. A, C, B. That's what the answers should look like. Let's have a look at the answers directly now. We're not going to attempt the entire test, but you can do so. And let me just show you guys the answers here, because the answers are always at the end, but you need to complete the test and then look at the answer. So A, C, B for the first 6. So we were right? So that's how you are going to practice this entire listening section. And trust me on this one, even if you didn't do well, even if you didn't listen to this, we are going to do a lot more of these together, and we're going to use the same channel for our practice. And in the next test that we do, I'm not going to speak in the middle to let you guys know, but I will attempt the entire test. I will share with you guys honestly the mistakes that I'm going to make, and then we are going to have a look at the explanation. We are going to listen to the recording again, and we are going to improve upon that so that we do not make the same mistakes again and again. All right, and that's how we learn about it as well. I hope this session was helpful to you. This reminded me of my practice days, right? So best of luck to you people. And if you guys have any questions, do leave it in the comments below and let me know how you find this resource. It is a free resource, of course, and I think it's very helpful. See ya.